Imagine this. You've been playing GT2, licenses got, starter car used, credits spent. It was a motor race, you were car racing.
No, Mikey, no, Mikey, that was so not right.
Money starts flowing in, and you feel like you need a new set of wheels. With so many cars on offer, you need a little help choosing. Because I'll be covering quite a few cars, I'll leave the timestamps for each city down in the description. Going in a clockwise direction, we arrive at the South City. Pick your poison. The blue oval, the red ram, and the gold bow tie. Immediate standouts here are the classic muscle cars, as they are incredibly cheap and have massive power. But because this is GT2, like with the monkey's paw, there's always a catch. Valve float. The muscle cars usually have 1000 RPM more than their red line should be. So if you're planning to use any of these wonderful divine creations, you'd best bring your manual transmission and familiarize yourself with the power band of your V8 of choice. Other vehicles of note would be any of the newer Corvettes, Camaros, and Mustangs. But if you're not in the market for a traditional front-engined rear-wheel drive machine, you might want to check out the Ford Taurus or the Dodge Intrepid. One has a tiny V8 and a NASCAR-inspired racing mod, while the other possesses a V6 and a top fuel dragster conversion. Unfortunately, they stay front-wheel drive, even if their looks might lead you to believe the opposite. Pushing the needle forward, we arrive at West City. Here reside the French and Italian cars. Most, if not all of their shitbox offerings are rather overpriced, despite me being a big fan of the Renault Megane, Citroën Saxo, and the 3 Peugeot hatchbacks. But if you're in the market for something more substantial for your front-wheel drive needs, the PRV V6 powered Xantia, Laguna, and 406 Coupe are all available at this price point with some money to spare. As for the French standouts, the only one at this price point is the Clio V6. Just a tad over 50 grand, it is certainly a unicorn in terms of looks and performance. The power figure might not sweep you off your feet immediately, especially for that price. But remember, it is a mid-engine hot hatch with a wide body from factory. Sure, it only comes in one color, but if you fancy to throw some money at it, you'll be left with a large choice of colors to choose from in the form of the racing mod. And with 3 whole stages of turbo power, you definitely won't be left behind, even in the later stages of the game. Now for the Italian vehicles. In terms of shitboxes, you've got the Fiat 500R, Fiat 600, and the Lancia Y. If you are in the market for a K-car adjacent car, of course there's the stylish Barchetta, but style is really the only thing you'll get from it. As for the hot hatches, the Punto GT and the 145 Cloverleaf are cool and oddball choices, as you typically go for a Lancia Delta Integrale of any trim, as their dashing, boxy, and wide looks come with 4-wheel drive and solid performance off the get-go, and with the leftover credits, you can definitely bring out their true potential. The Italian standouts are the Alpha 155 Twin Spark. With a few upgrades, it can tackle some of the low-end races in the FF Challenge. You can keep this one around as its race mod fits in very well with the Super Touring trophy cars later down the line. If you want to do things proper, that is. Another Alpha I'd consider is the GTV, ideally with the V6. That one too has a great race mod and a solid amount of power once upgraded, a bit on the expensive side, but if you want style and performance, this one's a keeper. I'd say that if the Fiat Coupe wasn't an option. With similar stock performance but 10 grand cheaper, you can get a bit more out of it from the get-go. But it won't reach the numbers of the GTV in full tilt, though it is slightly lighter than the Alpha, so that might be a consideration. As the clock needle hits the 12 o'clock direction, we arrive at North City, housing the dealerships of British and German marques. Now, here you've got very limited choice when it comes to the second car budget. For shitboxes, we've got the Corsa and Tigra. The new Beetle is a standout from the shitboxes as it is very cheap and it may not be very impressive from the get-go, but with 3 whole stages of turbo tuning, it can get some serious power. The Lupo and Mini Cooper are your K-adjacent whips if you fancy some northern flair. You can even buy a Mercedes A-Class. If you're not interested in regular commuter cars, you've got a couple of options. First off, Audi. There's the Sporty TT and S3, but the real bad mama here is the S4. If you want a Skyline that is not a Skyline, this is it. At full tilt, you are looking at over 600 horsepower, probably the best value for money you'll get outside of East City when it comes to price and performance. But if you're here, you're not looking for a Skyline, well, don't fret, as for even less than the price of the S4, you could have an Aston Martin DB6. Well, as far as power goes, this is basically what you're gonna get. It doesn't have any NA or turbo upgrades. After spending an additional 30 grand, you'll get a whopping 50 extra horsepower. The car is certainly a great buy, but it drops off rather quick. Going a tad over budget, you can visit TVR and nab the 4-liter Chimera. You could do a few rounds in the Sunday Cup and you could buy a slightly more powerful Chimera, but where's the fun in that? The 4-liter one has plenty of grunt and actual potential for some solid power. If that didn't sell you on one, then the selection of colors will. If a mid-engine layout is more your thing, you can opt for a base model Elise, or you can go for a MGF. Both great handlers, with the MG being a bit more composed compared to the no-nonsense Lotus. The leftover cash can net you some much-needed upgrades to get them up to the second car standard. And finally, we return to where it all began, East City. Now, I doubt you'll go wrong with any Japanese Halo car of your choice, because for 50 grand you can get any one of them and have some money left over. But if you're not looking for the meta, there are plenty of great and interesting cars to pick from. If you're in the market for something Supra adjacent, then you're in luck, as you have a wide selection of Lexuses and their JDM counterparts to pick from. But if you really want to unlock the Japanese spirit within you, go with the Chaser Tourer V. For only 32,000 credits, you get this big car, with plenty of money in reserve to play around. For Mitsubishi, the Gallant and its wagon counterpart, the Legnum, can fill that Evo-shaped hole in your chest for a similar price. For Mazda, you might be able to find a Yunos Cosmo in the used lot if you're looking for a rotary-powered tank. Nissan doesn't have much to offer besides the Stagia if you're not looking for a Halo car. She's pretty hefty even for a wagon, but the RB26 does have all of the potential of any Skyline and then some. But if you still want a Skyline, check the used lot. You might find a sedan version of the R33 GTR hiding in there. In the House of the Seven Sisters, you might be lucky enough and find a very special Impreza in the used lot. But if that's not tickled your fancy, try the Forester. It certainly is a unique vehicle to this game, and with a price tag of just over 20 grand, you'll have plenty of money to bring it up to snuff if you feel it a little bit lacking. And that's it. Some of the best cars you can get for around 50,000 credits in Gran Turismo 2. Drop a like and a comment down below and tell me which one caught your eye. Until next time.